In this presentation, we talk about leveraging university databases to identify and find relevant literature. We talk in particular about using keyword searches, the thesauruses associated with many of those databases, to identify the best terms to match your research activities. The university subscribes to hundreds of databases. Some are based on particular topics. Some are interdisciplinary and have many topics associated with them. Your job is to find which ones would best work for the research you want to conduct. Fortunately, meetings with librarians and other library guides can help you navigate this system of databases and find the ones that are most suited to your topic. The library, frankly, often recommends ERIC, Education Full Text, PsycInfo, and JSTOR as great education databases to begin your search. However, before you jump to a browser and open up one of these databases, I recommend pausing and thinking a little bit about pre-research activities to better ensure that you will get the information that you want. To facilitate your eventual search, begin by writing down a few key terms and ideas. What is the topic? What other topics are associated with it? Are there constructs or ideas that you can also write down? Who are the authors of that topic? Can you think of broader terms or narrower terms? What about the setting conditions that you're going to have your research housed in? What about the problem of practice itself? Are there things you can use that will help you narrow your search? As an example of this pre-write activity, I focused on transactional distance. You can see I have some of the main constructs of the theory in addition to the main author. But then I thought broader and focused on distance education and online learning. I focused on retention, attrition, and attendance. These terms are key words or search criteria that I might use to find relevant information. Then I went even deeper and looked at the context and the problem. Let's say I was dealing in high school with ESL learners, primarily Asian, in a self-guided course. What cultural differences are there? Are these things that might be of interest as I look at transactional distance and search for relevant research? These key words may help me find what I want to find as I search these databases. Once I have this list generated, now it's time to look at the databases. Here I've gone to ERIC on ProQuest, but this could be any database. And you can see I'm looking for an advanced search. There's different fields I can fill out, including peer review, ERIC documents, but I'm going to focus on the thesaurus. Databases are indexed with terms that they identify, and those terms may not be the ones that we use in everyday language. Using the thesaurus, I can type in a search term like online learning and determine what they use, in this case electronic learning. I can click further on the information and find out what the definition of electronic learning is, and then other related terms, virtual classrooms, distance education, and so forth. Notice that there's check marks to the left of these terms. I can select them and then add them to my search as I look for information that's relevant. When I've located the terms that I want, I can add them to my search using and, or not indicators. Let's do another example. I go to the thesaurus and I type in a different search term. In this case, I'm going to type in isolation. Now here I get cultural isolation, geographic isolation. What about perceptual isolation? I can look at this, it seems to be relevant, but I want to see what it is, so I'll select the term. It gives me a definition and related terms. But notice these are all associated with stimuli or perceptions. That's probably not the isolation I'm interested in. And so I can go back to locate a more relevant term. In this case, I'll go back to results, and I see professional isolation down in the list. Selecting this, I can again look at the definition, and it looks to be more in line with the type of isolation I'm interested in from a transactional distance perspective. Once again, I can get related terms, or I can use the actual term itself and add it to the list. That's what I'm going to do here. The Thesaurus app is an invaluable tool in many databases, and many types have them. Be sure to look for it if you're struggling finding good results. The thesaurus is only one of many tools that most databases have. Most databases also allow you to determine if you want peer-reviewed documents or not. They'll also ask you if you want results that include full-text articles from their database. While selecting the peer review button is often a good idea, I would be wary about selecting full-text only sources. Remember, the library subscribes to hundreds of databases. They may have access to the full-text article in a different one. Right now you're looking for relevant sources, and at some point you'll come up with a pretty good list that hopefully has useful information. Let's look at this article here, Revisiting Transactional Distance Theory in a Context of Web-Based High School Distance Education. Based on my search criteria, this may be something that's very relevant, and so I'll select on the title to get additional information. When I select the title, I get an abstract, and that's something you're familiar with to determine whether it's relevant or not. But I want you to look at a little more information. If you're struggling finding relevant search terms, the details under subject tells you what keywords they've indexed the article under. You may want to mine some of those keywords to find other relevant sources. Additionally, most databases will include a list of references that the article used to make their claims. Make sure you take a look at those references. You can find invaluable resources within them, so long as the article is relevant to your topic and your study. The following ideas are just a small list of things you can do as you get started with your research activities. If you have questions, or if you still aren't finding anything associated with your topic, setting, and problem of practice, be sure to talk to a librarian. They will be able to guide you as you move forward. Your committee chair or advisor also likely has a lot of advice and suggestions to help you be successful. Make sure you contact them too.